Paul Guerrucci, Guerrucci, Special Enforcement Section Commander.
All right, and I guess what happened out there with this many people getting shot?
Well, the incident that you're referring to happened on Saturday at approximately 2 o'clock. What we've been able to learn so far is it appeared that there were a large group of individuals that were engaged in some type of physical altercation, which escalated into shots being fired. During those shots being fired, we have learned that 3 people actually received some type of gunshot injuries. None of them at this point are life-threatening. One of the individuals was beaten and treated at the hospital, and another victim received a bullet hole to their vehicle. So we believe at this point that actually 4 people had physical injuries as a result of this altercation that escalated into shots fired. And then it resulted into those victims kind of fanning out to different locations, probably approximately 4 different locations where police responded and actually met with those victims, and then they were eventually transported to the hospital.
All the 4 people that were injured somehow, were they all shooting at each other?
No, we don't believe that there were. We're not sure exactly how many weapons were at the scene. We have collected evidence that would indicate there were at least 2 different handguns, but we've also received information that as many as 30 to 40 individuals were involved in the fight itself. Now, we're still in the process of verifying and investigating to determine all the facts of the case, but that's our preliminary information. Some of the victims are not being cooperative. We're also trying to find additional witnesses that can help us actually further our investigation. So we're encouraging anybody who has information to either reach out to the police department or reach out to Crime Stoppers, and they can remain anonymous and pass that information on to us.
Of the 4 victims, are any of them charged with shooting?
Right now, we have no charges on anyone. They're victims at this point. So we still are in the process of trying to identify who the actual shooters are in this incident, and that may take some time, but it is an active and ongoing investigation.
I guess how dangerous is this for not knowing how many people have guns shooting off at each other in a neighborhood?
Well, certainly the incident itself is dangerous. We don't believe this was a random act. These are individuals that actually went to the location to engage each other. So it's not a random violent act. That their type of behavior actually was a contributing factor to their injuries. So we don't feel that the public at large is in danger because this was definitely a specific act. And those people actually went to that location to engage in this altercation.
I guess a message to people that are doing stuff like that.
Well, it's extremely dangerous, and it can escalate in injury or loss of life. So we don't encourage or condone this type of activity. We would certainly ask that if anybody sees large groups of people gathering with any type of criminal behavior, to please call police. Now, certainly it's not against the law to gather and have a good time, but if you foresee that there's some criminal activity or some fights or some arguing going on, please call police and let us respond.
And were any nearby homes or anything struck with spray and bullets?
We had one vehicle that was struck by a bullet, and as far as I know, that's the only damage at this time. But we're still canvassing, and we will continue to follow up.
How far does that process, not just like the fight scene, but this one ended up here, this one ended up here?
Well, it can expand as we go along, but the initial scene has been processed, and we have that evidence.
Has there been any calls out to that area, or is this just a random area they all?
I believe that this was just a random area that they decided to go to and initiate this engagement.
And nobody telling you guys what it was over?
It's still it's still ongoing. We have a lot of people to interview, and those facts will come out as the investigation progresses. But at this time, we don't really know what happened or who's involved.
Pretty great.
Unless you want to give a timeline of the whole activities.
The only thing that we know right now is the incident looked like it happened at approximately 2:30 on Saturday afternoon, and then we responded and Subsequent to that, the victims were found at different locations. So this investigation during the initial phase of it probably was 4 or 5 hours.
Do you have an age range on the victims or the people that were gathering there to fight?
The-
Teens, young adults?
They're young adults in late teens.
When there's guns involved, apparently you guys knew that shot being fired. How much dangerous does that make you guys when you respond to something? You gotta be a little bit more cautious.
Well, we're cautious with every call we go out on when there's a potential for violence, so we always use situational awareness and act accordingly and professionally when we respond to crime scenes.